Hi, and welcome to the Las Vegas Advisor interview series. This is a very exciting episode. We are joined with the author of Breaking the Slot Code, Ben Rosenthal. I'm going to kick it over to Anthony to give a little background.
Yeah, well, you know, Ben's book, Breaking the Slot Code.
Yeah.
We published it, came out, about 3-4 months ago. Mm-hmm. And it is selling like crazy.
Well, it was highly anticipated. We've been talking about it for about a year.
Yeah, well, Ben originally, you know, I'll just set it up a little bit with Ben. He originally did this on his own. He had a book, and we saw it. We went out there and contacted him and said, I think we can do it better.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And he's like, well, you know, I like Huntington Press. Let's give it a go. You know, there's a reason to go to a publishing company.
Right.
But not only that, but we also, because we saw how popular this was, we started another website called slotslayers.com.
Which we've also talked about. If you know the show, you know Slot Slayers.
Yeah, and Ben he's the main man there. Mm-hmm. You know, he's the administrator. He's the guy you talk to. We will talk about Slot Slayers, you know, during this, but so people, you know, during this interview, but so people understand, Breaking the Slot Code is about the advantage play slots, or what some call persistent slots, or some call variable state slots, meaning that they can get into a position where a variable state where the edge actually swings from the casino to the player.
Yeah, the game is positive. You should play.
Yeah, well, you know, at Huntington Press, we don't talk about games that can't be beat.
Right.
So this is definitely a beatable game. You're going to find out as you listen here. Should be a fascinating interview. Let's just start with Ben. Kind of tell us how you got started. I know you were a poker player, and all of a sudden you're in slots, man. Tell us about it.
That's right. Yeah, so I've played poker for my whole life. Since I was in middle school, kind of coinciding with the whole Chris Moneymaker thing, like a lot of people my age. And so I've just been playing poker forever. I was getting a little burnt out from it, to be honest. So then one of my friends who's a big poker player, he started showing me these advantage slots in like 2019, 2020, right before COVID. And at the time, I didn't really have any interest in it. I was like, okay, like, I'm not really going to play slots, because like when I played slots, I was just thinking of like being a sucker. Like, you go to the casino and you're going to lose whatever you put in, and like if you happen to hit something, you just got lucky on it, you know. So that was like my mindset, and like the mindset of a lot of people who I try to explain this to.
Slots have notoriously a high house edge throughout the casino. You go, oh well, those are the worst games to play. That's
right. Yeah. So that was my thinking. I was like firmly in that camp, and then I kind of wrote in the book. My buddy showing me all these slots, and he's like winning every time. He's like getting excited. He's a poker player, and he's getting way more excited about slots than he is about poker hands. Like, we used to talk about poker hands like all day long. Now he's telling me about these like different finds he has in the casino on slots. And I'm like, okay, well, you've piqued my interest. I want to see this in action. Every time we go around looking at these slots, he's winning on them. So I'm like, man, there's got to be something to this. And that was kind of the beginning of all this stuff.
Ben, I think people want to know, what were some of the first slot machines that you were exposed to that had advantage play?
Sure, yeah. So I'm in the classics, kind of like a Golden Egypt, a Scarab, Ocean Magic.
The three I wrote down. Go ahead.
You're right, yeah. I mean, Ultimate X was there. I wasn't really that big into video poker. That had been there previously. Some of the early ones, a lot from IGT, but those would be like three of the staples I could think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, those are kind of the main ones. You know, like when I was making notes for this, I wrote down 4 games, and he just mentioned them all.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? You know, he just did.
I mean, there's so many more. That even back then, 2019, 2018, 2020, there are a lot more, but those would have been like, you'd find those in every casino.
Well, it's going crazy now. It's going crazy because the casinos make money on these slots. As they go into their positive state for the player, they're making money all the way up. So we'll talk about how the casinos are reacting to the slot vultures, as they're called by a lot of people. Sure. But the book itself, again, Breaking the Slot Code, it takes 25 games. It talks about 25 different advantage play games. The question I was gonna ask is, well, Andrew just kind of did, like, where do people get started? I mean, those are the easy games, right? Those are the ones that are easy to find. Those are the ones with the lowest variance. Those are the ones with the lowest risk.
Yeah, I'd say there are 25 games, but I'd say the 25, it's more like kind of concepts, which I was really trying to get across. So the thinking was, you learn one of these games, and yes, now you know how to beat Scarab, for instance. But now through that, you're going to be able to play a game like Happy Eights, another very common game. These are all kind of like similar principles. So I was really trying to nail down principles more than just 25 different games. And the games I picked happen to be common games you're going to see in a lot of different casinos. Not necessarily all of them are going to be low variance. Like some of them might be more risky, and I tried to really outline exactly how risky, and then I ordered the book by risk as well.
Which is a good part. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's, we talked a lot about, why, so how do we list these games? Do we list them alpha? Do we list them by popularity? Like maybe if we did that, Buffalo would be first.
Sure.
Right? But we decided to list them by variance or risk.
That's right.
And that's how the book is. So you start with games like Ocean's Magic and Scarab, which are going to be very, very on the low risk side. And that's what's cool about this. You can get high rollers who can play these games with a whole lot of variance, where you might have to have $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 in your pocket to play them.
Sure.
Or you can be a casual player and find these games where you've got a couple $100 in your safe.
That's right, yeah. And the book is kind of like, I wouldn't call this a beginner's, like it definitely has some advanced concepts in there, but I really tried to make it as readable as I could. Like I had my grandmother in mind actually as I was writing. I was like, what would she understand as someone who doesn't really play slots hardly at all? What can I write that she would be able to grasp? I mean, she's smart in a lot of ways, but not in slots. But anyway, that was my thinking as I was doing it. We have so many pictures in there that kind of illustrate everything as well.
Talking about risk, how bad can how bad can the fluctuations be? Like, name a couple of the games that are scary. Like I know some of the Buffalo games, Frankenstein. These are some.
Yeah,
ones.
Frankenstein wouldn't be. I mean, it would be riskier than an Ocean Magic or something. But yeah, like a Buffalo Link, a Phoenix Link, Buffalo Diamond, Ascending Fortunes. A lot of these and some of these newer games, they're kind of like. We'll get to that. I don't want to jump ahead too much, but a lot of the newer games they're adding, they have a lot of swings to them. So I really try to focus on. I mean, I focus on all of them, to be honest. I write what you should look for in all of them, but I really outline. Hey, this one's risky. If you don't like swings, if you need a really big sample to really see the results from play to play, you might lose a lot of money. But I outline that if you're risk averse, you don't want to potentially lose what Anthony said. $5,000 on a play. You don't have to play these kind of games. So right. It's really that's what I really try to outline in the website and in the book.
Well, for instance, when I was reading the book, I love Golden Egypt. I've been playing it for a long time, but I wanted to see, what does Ben have to say about it? Does he have something new to say? Yeah, you did.
Right,
so you talk about you might have to take 30 spins.
Sure.
And that wasn't really a number I thought about until I read the book.
Right. Well, I try to put not like the absolute worst case scenario, but just know that these games, if on a bad run, could take X number of spins sometimes.
Right.
So go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, people need to understand that there is risk involved.
That's right, yeah. I mean, some of these plays are going to be over in a couple of spins, but then some of them have the potential to be 30, 40 spins, so you need to kind of know. I always like to know the worst case scenario going into something, and then if it reaches that, I'm like, okay, well, I was prepared for that. I don't want to, sell something and say, okay, well, you're always going to win on this. This is only going to take 5 spins, and then it takes 20 spins, and someone's like, what the heck is this? This is not what I signed up for. So I really try to outline everything as clearly as I can on both website and book.
Well, see, it's like that in every game where you can get an edge. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you're playing blackjack, your edge is very, very small.
Right.
And the reason blackjack can be so good is because it scales. You've got a very small edge, maybe 0.75%, maybe 1% if you've got a big bet spread. You can lose a lot of sessions doing that. Mm-hmm. And the same thing goes for this or any other beatable game. But in the end, you add them all up, you stack them all up, you're going to be like this, but in an upward trajectory.
Exactly, yeah. So slots I wrote in the book, it's a long-term game, just like Anthony was describing with blackjack. You're going to have losing sessions, you're going to have losing days. But if you play things properly, it's I've never had a losing month. Not to brag or anything, I'm not really trying not to. I'm just saying you're going to have some bad days. For sure, there's no doubt about that. Someone who says they never lose at advantage slots is either not playing all of them or they're just lying, because there will be losing days. So
let's have as we're talking about accessibility, let's talk about availability. Can these things be found? I mean, that's one of the questions I get all the time. People go, well, I heard that there's so many people out there playing them, you can't find them anymore. Or, I only go to casinos in my hometown here, so will I find them there? I mean, they're everywhere, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll be up front. Las Vegas for me is very, very competitive. For everyone, it's super competitive. But I mean, there's also games everywhere. So it's just like, if you put enough hours, if you're really into this kind of thing, I mean, you could be as serious or as casual as you want with it. If you're doing like 30 minutes a day, don't expect to like make truckloads of money or anything like that. But if you put in time, even in a place as competitive as Las Vegas, you're going to find opportunity.
But here's what's great about it. Sure, you can put in the time. You can be a pro, a semi-pro, somebody who's extremely serious about this. The more you do it, the more money you're going to make, like anything else. But for me, I hate to admit it, that with all these opportunity, I am so casual about this.
Sure.
That I only play them when I happen to be walking through a casino or in a bar to sit down for a beer, and I check the screen. And I go, boy, this is fun to play something with positive expectation. I'm hardly even looking for it. I see them all the time.
That's right. Yeah.
And you do too. You go out, right? You don't necessarily go looking for them, but you got your eye peeled and you find them, right?
I do. I have certain places in town that I go to specifically because I think there's going to be advantages left behind there.
Even if you're just doing this super casually, I mean, you're going to find opportunity even if you're 30 minutes a day or 30 minutes every other day, that kind of thing.
But what about people who do it casually, but they've got big bankrolls? I mean, so they're like people that have a lot of money or they like to gamble a lot. They're doing it casually. They're going to run across these kind of things with dollar denoms and $5 denoms that other people have seen and go, I know it's good, but I don't have the bankroll for that.
Well, they would have that kind of player describing. I mean, you wouldn't find... Even if it's like an enormous bet, say like a $500 per spin, which is just outrageous. I've never had anything that high. I'm just saying hypothetically. If it's a 1 or 2 spin kind of thing, you're never going to... No one's going to leave that. But to your point, they will leave things like a Buffalo Link or something way more volatile. So if you do have the bankroll and you can deal with that kind of swing, and though, hey, this is still positive, but I might lose on it, but long term, I'm going to win on this kind of play. So if you can handle those kind of swings, there would be opportunity even in a kind of casual setting.
I'll tell you a story. I won't get into all the details about this.
Okay.
But I got a buddy who has a bankroll, right? And he carries his bankroll. And he walked in the middle of an Ultimate X play where somebody was setting up hangers for somebody to play for someone else. They were building a card is what it's called in the business. And somebody sets it up for somebody else, but they left the machine alone. He walked up to it and saw it and sat down on it. They lost their minds. They were around him trying to get him out of the machine. But this guy's a pro. He wouldn't leave.
Okay.
He walked out with $8K.
Oh, man, wow.
I mean, because these were $5, these were $2 and $5 setups.
Sure.
Yeah.
And he had the money to play it.
Right.
And he played it. He walked out with $8K. He called me up. He says, "Can you come pick me up?"
They're coming after me.
So let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about the downside.
Okay.
And I see 3 things as a downside. One we've already talked about, that nothing's guaranteed.
Okay.
All right. Number 2 is the competition.
Right.
And the scufflers that are out there and the vultures that are out there that'll give you a hard time. And number 3 are the casinos themselves.
Right.
So let's talk about scufflers first.
I'm going to add one more to that list of downsides just because I want to just be upfront with everything. I'd say kind of like related to casinos are the manufacturers now. Now they're still creating advantage games. They're not going anywhere. But some of these older advantage games, I'm going to say like a 2020 kind of game, 2021 kind of game, is going to have a higher ceiling, more potential than some of these advantage games they're creating in 2026. And they're doing that because the casinos are like, hey, we love advantage slots because they draw a lot more spins, a lot more people play them than non-advantage slots. The problem is we don't necessarily want people vulturing or slot advantage players.
Yeah.
So can we combine both things? Can we have either the perceived persistence, which is nothing, but they also have persistence games that are lower edge and more volatile and more swings. So that's kind of like the 4th thing I would add to that list.
Interesting. Okay, so let's go back to the second one.
Sure.
The players themselves.
Yeah.
How nasty can it get out there? I know it can get kind of bad. Not that you're going to get taken in a back room or anything like that.
Right.
But I mean, how much can they bother you, get into your face, whatever?
Yeah, I mean, people are. I've been doing this for a long time. I've never been in a fist fight or anything like that. I've never even been in a screaming match or anything. I mean, depending on where you are, some people can get territorial, get a little aggressive, but there's also like
because they want your seat.
Oh, are you talking
because you found something good and
right? Or sometimes like a scenario I could think of is I arrive at a machine, they arrive at the machine. Who got there first? Who has the right of way to this kind of machine? So
you both recognize the opportunity.
Exactly. So that would be like a common kind of thing. Usually you can talk it out with someone. Hey, I thought I got here, maybe you got there, maybe we can shop this. That happens all the time in slot and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, as long as you're like polite and everything, I've never had any kind of like really bad experience with people like that.
What about casino backoffs or casinos getting, irked by the fact the casinos, they like it that they're making money.
Sure.
But they don't like they know there's going to be a jackpot. They're still going to make money, but they don't like the money going to their non-customers.
Right, or to a small percentage of consistent players.
Right.
I think from the casino's perspective, this is how I would view it if I had a casino, and how I know they view it is they say, okay, our players who we want to cater to, who are feeding these machines and who are losing money, we want them to get these hits. We don't want some guy to come in and take the win, and meanwhile these people are losing at a rate that might be faster than they're used to, and then they might think in their head, hey, geez, I remember I used to be able to bring $200 to the casino and that would last me 4 hours. Now it's lasting me an hour. Mm-hmm. Right? So that's, I think, from a casino's perspective, they want to have their customer base, they want those wins to cycle back to them so they can keep playing and they have a better experience. That's from their perspective what they would be looking for.
How aggressive are they getting? I mean, how aggressive are the casinos getting to walk up to you and say, hey, we don't want your action here, or hey, don't do that, or hey, quit rifling through here? Because a lot of these machines, you can't see it, obviously. Right from the start, you have to go and you have to hit a few buttons to see, as is explained in the book.
Right, yeah, it really is all over the map as far as the casino's reaction. Some don't care at all, and I think they should care. I'll say this, I think they should care for the really aggressive, obnoxious advantage player who is standing inches. Say Anthony's on the machine here, I'm waiting for you to get off. I'm this close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Some people do that.
They're lighting a cigarette.
So I could imagine. I mean, for me, I'd be like, hey,
exactly.
Let's go. And now what does that lead? What does that lead to?
And that happens sometimes. So if I were a casino, that'd be my number one. Boot those guys immediately because they're giving everyone a bad name, and they're the most obvious and the most flagrant to the person on the machine. So that'd be the first thing I would do. And go back to the original question. I already kind of lost my train of thought.
Oh, it's just how much you have to worry as
the negatives.
As a casual player,
right,
who goes in and let's say you read the book and you say, oh wow, I want to do this.
Yeah.
Maybe more than casually.
Okay.
And you want to go in and you want to start finding the machines that are possible, and you want to start flipping through the different denoms and things.
Right.
How much do you have to worry that somebody's going to walk up to you?
Yeah. So, for instance, should I give specific casino names or should I?
You can. Sure you can.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. So like Resorts World, for instance, in Las Vegas, they're really on top of it as far as if they see you flipping through the machines, especially in the morning, especially when it's not busy, they're going to tell you to don't come back, basically. That's happened to me twice now at Resorts World. But they also didn't take my ID. That's a whole another story. But it really depends on the casino. Some don't care at all. Some are on the Resorts World end of the spectrum where they're going to try to trespass you and say, hey, don't come back. So it's all over the map.
I've heard that there's lots of opportunities on cruise ships, but certain cruise ships are cracking down. I know people have gotten letters.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was one of those people getting letters or an email and whatever, phone call I think I got as well. From Norwegian, that was my experience. I also know I've heard of people from Carnival having issues. But, yeah, it's normally on cruise ships you don't have to worry so much about getting nabbed while you're on the cruise ship. It's afterward because they're going to look at your numbers and they'll say, well, how does this guy, they have what's called a Theo.
Right.
And they're going to say, well, this guy should have lost $10,000 and instead he won $6,000 and the numbers don't make sense. Then they're going to look at your game log and they're going to say, oh, he's playing only advantage games. So on a cruise ship anywhere, this applies to cruise ships, applies to anywhere. I'm really these days really conservative with using my player's card. I really am not sticking it in for, if I'm taking 10 spins, 20 spins, 30 spins, 50 spins, I'm putting it in for the 500 spins. Because whatever comp equity I might get from those 20 spins, it's not worth raising a flag and saying, hey, I'm an advantage player. Because they're tracking it. A lot of casinos are tracking it, or they have third parties tracking this stuff. So I would be very careful using your player's card anywhere these days.
So it's sort of like a soft version of card pulling.
Yeah, exactly, right.
People who don't know card pulling, there's a lot of that goes on. That people use their card until they hit something good, they pull the card. So it doesn't register. There's different ways of doing that.
Right, yeah, that's something you got to be careful with.
That's dangerous. I'm not advocating that. That's dangerous.
Yeah. They have software that can kind of it's some casinos that can kind of tell when you're doing that. But
I was going to say, so Anthony always says that I should never be playing Keno, but this is a good thing. I should play Keno, so they know that I'm a Keno player too.
If you can, I mean,
throwing them off,
throwing off the scent. But yeah, like if you're with your significant other who just likes gambling on random crap, or you're with a group of friends and they like gambling on stuff, use your player's card if you're with them, because that's great to show that you're playing non-advantage games on that card. So yeah, maybe you know a few machines, but you're also playing a lot of bullshit stuff as well.
And that's called leaks, right? So you're doing something to make money, but then you also have leaks.
That's right.
All right, so let's take this like kind of the next level of this. How does it work for comps? I mean, I would think that if you're thought to be a slot player, this has got to be tremendous, at least for a while, till they get onto you.
Oh yeah, I mean, comps are like, I'll give you a real world example right now. I have a bunch of friends here in Las Vegas for a fantasy football draft, actually. And I don't come to Vegas all that often. I come maybe 5 times a year. I have comped rooms at Resorts World, Fontainebleau, and Bellagio. That's just, and if you're going to get a room at Bellagio, you would know a lot better than I would what it would cost on a Friday and Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't be cheap. So, I mean, you get that. I have slot play at all of them. So I have 200 at MGM. I think I have 100 a piece at the other two. And then you have food comps as well. So, really, I mean, if you're coming to Vegas, Vegas would be like the epicenter for comps. But anywhere, really, like if I'm going on a cruise ship, I don't pay to get on the cruise ship. If I'm going to the Bahamas, for instance, everything there is comped as well. So, just if you like traveling, I mean, for that alone, if you could be even just like a net, not a loser, just like a, kind of break even. And you like traveling, it could be worth it just for that.
All right, so Ben, also we were talking about perceived persistence games.
Sure.
These are like the false flags. These are the games that like throw you off. It looks like they're building something up,
right,
but it really doesn't matter. Can we talk about that for a little bit? Maybe give some examples.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of the stuff, and you'll find this even on advantage games. You'll find things, for instance, like a Lucky Buddha, which is a low edge game, but it does offer an advantage. It'll have a common one. Will be like coins building in different pots growing at different sizes. That has no impact on anything. You're just looking for these numbers on top of the reels for that game in particular.
Okay.
But pots grow in different sizes. Meters that mean nothing. That's the big one I'm seeing these days. 2026 is all these games come with meters that are like, if you didn't know any better, you'd say, well, I want to play the one with the meter that's all the way toward the end, because that must indicate I'm close to triggering something. And
right, but it's not.
It's not. And if you look at the rules, they have to tell you in the rules, this is just for show. This is just. It'll tell you if you read the rules. But
they have to say that.
They have to say that in the game rules. But it's convincing. I mean, who really wants to go flip through 20 different pages on the slot screen to make sure that what they're playing is actually legitimate? But yeah, a lot of games these days, especially 2026, looking ahead to 2027, they're going to have these kind of, what you just said, perceived persistence.
There's the one that's Bao Zhu Sao Fu, I think there's the name. It's like a...
Is that the one with the firecrackers?
Yep, it is.
Yeah.
And the firecrackers can pop whether they're fully loaded or not.
That's right. That's a good example of one, because if you look at one, you'll look at a strand of firecrackers or whatever, and they're fully lit up. And if you didn't know any better, you'd say, well, that's clearly going to be better than one that has no lit up feature or anything. And
the truth would be that it actually doesn't matter at all.
That's right.
Okay, so you're not playing at any sort of advantage. The math doesn't change. The way the game presents itself is that, the more you play, the more these firecrackers light up.
Sure.
So you either get a firecracker that lights up, or you get a firecracker that pops the bonus, and it could be anyone. Doesn't matter where it is.
Exactly. That's a great example of like what you just said, perceived persistence, and they're doing that all over for slot machines.
All right. So this is a really good lead-in to the next part of this, where we talk about the website.
Okay.
Because I know, we'll get to it, but there's one of the features on the website is you bring to their attention lists of some of these that you want to avoid.
Right. Yes.
So let's talk about, first of all, the book. If you want to just get started, Breaking the Slot Code, it's I think it's $29.70 on our website right now. So it's a $35 book. We're discounting it by about $5, $4, $5 rather. Slotslayers.com is taking it to another level. All right, that's where every day you've got people in there. We've got members, probably about 300, 350 or so right now. And it's growing. And there's videos.
Right.
You can only put so much in a book, and we've got some good color pictures, but it ain't like seeing a video where you walk them through it and you talk them through it. So it's got videos, it's got message boards where people talk and get together.
Right.
We're adding features like calculators.
Right.
This feature about where are the false flags? How do you stay away from the false flags? Talk a little bit about Slots Players. I mean, you happy with it, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's definitely exceeded my expectations for what I thought it's going to look like. It looks great on the phone too, which was something I was like, ooh, is this going to translate and stuff, where you could carry it around and actually in real time look at something and find what you're looking for. But anyway, it's got to be close to 300 different games now on the site. So I mean, the book had 25 concepts. We're approaching 300 different games on the site, adding new ones all the time. The message boards have been great. People asking really good questions. And it's not just me responding. It's everyone else. Oh, yeah, I've experienced this. This kind of thing.
Well, that's something I wanted to bring up is the hive mind of this of the website. I mean, what you're accessing is people that are really into it. And, and when we were talking earlier, there's just nuance to all of these games, right?
Sure.
So it's not that simple where you just go up and do it. There is nuance. There is risk. There is things you got to know. Like, for instance, do you find that it's easier to get more Buffaloes in Buffalo Lightning Link than it is to get Phoenixes?
Right. No, that's a good example for sure.
Every time.
Right. And, yeah, I mean, like you said, a lot of nuance. And
so even though the meters look the same,
sure.
One's 1,800 at Pops, one Pops at 1,888, it's going to be easier to get Buffaloes.
Sure.
You'll accumulate them faster.
Right.
So, and I think it's the same menu. I think it's both Aristocrat.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So,
I mean, those are awful games, but they are very popular advantage games. Sometimes
awfully addictive.
They are. Yeah, and you know what? Sometimes I think of is like, you can go to some hole-in-the-wall casino, and I was in Colorado at Blackhawk, Colorado. I think it was called Sasquatch or something. Like the smallest casinos, they're going to have these brand new banks of Buffalo Link, or Phoenix Link in particular. And to me, that tells me, like, they're aware of advantage slots, but yet they're installing all these Phoenix Links everywhere. And I actually heard from a friend who talked to someone who works at a casino, and they're like, yeah, we know about advantage slots. We're okay with Phoenix Link because the edge is small. They're, like you said, addictive. They get a lot of play. So, I mean, just that example is definitely not my favorite. Every time I talk about Phoenix Link, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, I know. You see one at 1,300, 1,400, you go, oh, I got it.
Right.
And you don't got it.
Yeah. So that'd be an example we were talking about earlier, Anthony, your a friend who has a big bankroll. He'll find Phoenix Link plays in positive states, but it's one of those things where you're going to need a really big sample to realize your equity in that kind of play.
Yeah. Well, another thing about, again, the message boards, which I've noticed, when you talk, it's an inexact science, what we're talking about. We know, Ben knows, others like him empirically, from doing this so many times, we know where the edge is.
Sure.
But different people have different ideas of where it is. So that's what's cool about the website, is everybody's talking. I know in the beginning, at least, Rich Rayke was contributing a lot.
Yeah.
And here's a great story about this. Rich Rayke's father was Bart Rayke. Bart Rayke is a guy in Detroit who gave me my first book on blackjack.
Okay, yeah.
He's
I knew the name.
He's the guy who got me started.
Cool.
And now after all these years, Rich has become an expert in his own right in his area, and one of them is these advantage slots.
Right.
And you get information from guys like him and other people who put a different perspective. It all comes together, and everybody hones their craft.
And I'm included. I would call myself an expert in slots, but like I don't know every single thing. A lot of this stuff you really need enormous samples, so I'm updating my numbers all the time. If I get feedback from certain people like Rich who know what they're talking about, and hey, I've experienced different things, maybe I need to revisit the game. That happens all the time. I mean, when you have 300 games, it's not like a blackjack kind of thing where. Now, would you say blackjack is solved, I guess?
Yes, for the most part. I mean, yeah.
Okay, so that'd be like, but that's not really the case with slots, just because you really need, for some of these games, I'll come back to the Phoenix Link example, you really need thousands of plays on this thing to really hone in on, get your numbers where they should be. So it's like, the numbers are always going to be updated.
Yeah, I would just to finish and then jump in. Blackjack is solved if you're a computer. I mean, a computer can play blackjack. It's solved. Okay. You know exactly how to play, when you have the edge, how much it is, whatever. But the human factor, you have to make deck estimations and things like that. So that's why I say not completely solved.
Sure.
That everybody can just learn a black and white strategy.
I guess
it's extremely close.
Maybe video poker would be a better example then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So go ahead. You were going to say.
Oh, I was just going to jump in and say, for example, there's a Frankenstein is in the book, and we talk about Frankenstein and the multipliers. when I see a Frankenstein, I don't even think of it as a positive game. I think of it as a fun game. Even if there's multipliers up there, I just know I've played it a lot. I've seen the multipliers up there. I've gone after it, and I get frustrated, and it's still a loss. And so I play Frankie, and now Bride of Frankie.
Yeah, that's the new one.
Yeah, I play it for fun. Even though I know, maybe I see some multipliers up there, maybe I play it. I just know that it's, it's hard to quantify that one.
Sure, no, for sure. And that's one where you're going to need a really big sample to really you have a stacked screen of multipliers, and it's gonna start mattering when you have 100 plays, 200 plays, 300 plays. But from play to play, you could, get one Frankenstein head on a value you don't even have multiplied, and that's the end of it. You could be in for 100 spins, and that'll be a disappointing result for sure.
You know what else is interesting too, Andrew? You were telling me today, before when we were getting ready to shoot this, that you're finding positive situations in the bars.
Yes, I am.
I don't mean the casino bars, because casino bars got them too, for sure. But the standalone non-casino bars in Vegas, you're finding them.
Absolutely. As some of these bar top games get updated, especially those slanted new IGT games, they have a lot of games on them. They have a lot of things to look through. And I can sit at one of those for a half hour, easy, just having fun, switching between games, having a beer.
And getting free drinks, too, while you're there.
It really is the life.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
I'm going to add one more, since I brought up the bars. The other thing about the book, Breaking the Slot Code, is of those 25 games, 24 are slots. And one of them is video poker, and that's Ultimate X.
Right.
And I will take credit. I talked Ben into this.
Sure.
And he's like, I don't know. Do we want to put Ultimate X in there? I said, man, you want to talk about a variable state game. This is it.
It's the best game, in my opinion.
You find more of them than anything.
Yeah.
And this book has the only correct strategy for Ultimate X. I've seen it in many other places, even one that we published that wasn't exactly correct because the author didn't quite understand what the game. This has got the only one, so there's a bonus for you. It's worth it, that alone, just to know how to play it.
Well, sure, yeah. Go ahead, Andrew.
Oh, no, I was also going to say, I will say that also Ultimate X is one of those games that's been around for a while. I had heard about it through a guy saying, you can knock down multipliers and whatever, but I didn't really understand it until you showed it to me, Anthony. And then I saw it all over town. I went looking for Ultimate X's. And then now, I'll be honest, there's an Albertsons that I used to go to that always had them everywhere. And now they're never there. So people know,
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, what's great about Ultimate X, too, is once you learn Ultimate X, there's Ultimate X Bonus Streak, there's Rising Multipliers. Ultimate X Gold is a really tricky game, but it's great if you know how to play it. I'm still kind of learning that one. I'm not an expert by any stretch in Ultimate X Gold, but there's a lot of different kind of offshoot variants of.
Did we get Mr. Brain onto the? Did he?
He's helping me a ton for sure.
All right, this is Mr. Brain, the Ultimate X guy. This guy knows more about Ultimate X than the guys who created it. I'm telling you.
Yeah, he's like a computer talking to him. Great guy.
Well, Mr. Brain. Right?
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, guys like that we comp into the website. And, so give it a try. The website is $30 a month because this is valuable information. It's $360 a year, but if you want to buy it by the year, it's $270. So you get a nice discount there, $90.
All right, so moving on from Slot Slayers, by the way, link in the description box if you would like to check that out. Moving on from Slot Slayers, Ben, we always ask our guests two questions. I'm going to ask the first one, which is... can you name one of your favorite restaurants or point our guests to one of your favorite spots to go eat while you're here in Vegas?
Sure, yeah, it was one I went to yesterday. If I'm not going to take the Detroit-style pizza one, I'll go with this one I went to yesterday called Chubby's Skewers.
Where's that?
I think it's Chinatown.
Yeah.
Okay.
What kind of food? What was it?
Yeah,
I heard it was like a Mongolian barbecue or something.
Yeah, it's kind of like you cook all your own food. You pick out all these different skewers from this enormous fridge that they have, and it's like $1.30 per skewer or something. It's really cheap. Me and my friends, we had like 85 of them or something yesterday.
You skewered them.
Yeah.
All right. Good deal. Okay, second question we ask everybody. What's the gambling book, a gambling book? Doesn't have to be a Huntington Press book. Right. Go back to where you started. Maybe your poker beginnings. Yes. What's the book that stands out? You go, there's and not your book. I mean, one that you just said, damn, this is good, and damn, this is going to get me on. This got me on the road to where I'm going.
Yeah, Harrington on Hold'em for sure. When I was in, I guess, 9th grade high school, I was just reading that instead of doing school stuff. So that was the one.
Yeah, you know what?
He had the fitted hat on. He's an older dude with the fitted hat.
Oh, they used to call him Action Dan Harrington.
Yeah, right.
And he was about as little of an action guy as you've ever seen in your whole life in terms of his personality.
Right.
Nice guy, though.
Oh, you met him?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I always, when people ask me, the Harrington book, I always bring up. I said, you got to read it. Like, there's a few books you got to read if you want to play poker. My two other ones were, for sure, Sklansky's Theory of Poker.
Never read it, but I've heard about
It's
it.
just it's a brilliant book for just getting the feel of how to play poker. And the other one is our own book. I honestly believe that Decide to Play Great Poker by Annie Duke's one of the best ever written for conceptual.
Cool.
Okay.
So, all right. I think a pretty good show. I mean, that was about 40 minutes that went by like that.
Yeah.
We've been wanting to get you on for a while, Ben. Congratulations to you and us for how good your book is doing. And, Slot Slayers continues to go, and hopefully we'll pick up some new people. Come check it out.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for having me, guys.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you.
All right.